Ready?
Yeah, ready.
So
Okay.
do we want to just record? Pop?
We're recording.
Oh, we're already okay.
Let's talk about this.
Let's talk about this.
We got Zoiglhaus.
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 Zoiglhaus Pilsner.
Northern German style Pilsner. What do you think? Initial thoughts?
It's very weedy. It's got a nice weediness to it.
It is 4.8%, which is not high.
Not at all. No, that's like
It's a lawnmower beer.
yeah, it's lawnmower.
Style.
I like that term. I've never heard that before. Lawnmower beer.
I got it from our friend Paul.
Oh, really? Okay, nice.
Good thing we primed up with some Widmer up at the bar earlier.
Yeah, well, you primed with Widmer. I primed with that blood orange
I thought
Elysian thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
they had the blood orange?
Yeah, the Elysian. It was an Elysian blood orange
I've
pale
had that
ale.
before. It's really good.
It was really good. I'm not usually a fan of pale ales.
I'm
I feel
not
like
a fan of pales, but you put some fruit into it?
they're too hoppy for me, and
Yeah.
I get the hops are like a draw, but you know, if the hop itself is not flavorful and tasty, then I'm not going to enjoy it just because it's hoppy.
Right. I don't at all.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot going on in this can.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gold 2017 for what? Let's see. The Great American Beer Festival, asterisk. German style Pilsner. What's the asterisk? It doesn't.
No, that's just an asterisk for flavor. That's to make you feel.
Okay.
It's to make it important.
And it has a whole thing on the back. Would you like to read that?
Oh yeah, so we welcome you to the first Zoiglhaus this side of Bavaria, as opposed to the dozens of Zoiglhauses east of Bavaria. Zoigl-style beer has been brewed since the Middle Ages in several small towns of Oberpfalz. I'm going to assume that's Oberpfalz. It's a wonderful old custom where citizens share a communal brewhouse, then take turns serving their brew to their neighbors for the comfort of their own homes. You can still taste the Zoigl tradition. I just read that as you can still taste the Zoigl. Just I want that. You can still taste the Zoigl tradition in 5 tiny towns there. And now, right here in Portland. We're pleased to open our brewery to bring you this Zoigl experience.
That should be the name of this first episode. You can still taste the Zoigl.
You really can still taste the Zoigl. I'm getting a nice mouthful of Zoigl right now.
Dude, I'm telling you though, I could smash these so hard. I like the flavor.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, it's weird. I like Pilsners, and I feel like I have to labor to continue liking Pilsners. It's like everybody they scoff at them. It's like Pilsner as a concept has become this almost like a dirty word among beer lovers. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I have to justify liking Pilsners, which I don't feel like I should. I feel
shouldn't, no.
It's like a default. It's like the default beer. This isn't.
Yeah, I think too many people are just into IPAs nowadays.
Well, especially here in Portland, they're not nearly so prevalent in other places. In fact, you can even taste the kind of like the hop heavy focus on these Pilsner.
Yeah, why is that?
I don't know. I feel like a large part of it comes from people just kind of liking things that are difficult to enter. Like difficulty to entry or barrier to entry is like kind of sexy in a way. Like
Insert
coffee.
your mom joke here.
Right. Well, you got like things like you got like coffee, like really dark chocolate.
But see, I get that. I would really wish I enjoyed coffee because I would love to sit around and drinking different types of coffee. I just don't like coffee.
Oh, and nobody speaks with as much total satisfaction and joy as a coffee lover, and I love hearing them talk about it. And then the second they put it in front of me, I'm like, oh, this is still bitter hot bean juice. Thank you.
Yeah, it's just gross.
I love it.
I love it. I love it when you talk about it.
No, it's like Kevin Costner talking about baseball. Like he can talk to me about baseball for hours.
How many baseball movies has he made?
Well, to my knowledge, there's 2 that jump to mind: Field of Dreams and Bull Durham.
There's got to be more though.
There's got to be.
I'm gonna Paul Barkett. No pun intended. Okay, pun intended. 4. Over under 4.5.
You're gonna ballpark Kevin Costner. Oh, we're pulling out our phones now. Okay,
As much as possible.
Sure.
I have this device in my pocket that
You guys are
lets
gonna
me
love this.
have all of the world's knowledge, and I use it mostly to check IMDb.
Right, and that's what it really is for, to find out the name of that one guy who was in that thing, and figure out how many baseball movies Kevin Costner's made.
Or where do I know this guy from? That's usually what it is. What is your favorite Kevin Costner movie of all time?
Honestly, I gotta say Bull Durham. It's I find it incredibly, I don't know, sexy and effortless. I love Field of Dreams. I mean, everybody's great in it. It's a good movie, an American classic. But
holy shit, I forgot he was in Batman versus Superman. He's Pa Kent.
That's worth forgetting because he has the most.
I loved every single DC movie except for Wonder Woman. I've enjoyed.
He had the most pointless, anticlimactic death I've ever seen in my entire life.
Well, that's fair.
Like you're just like, oh, he's just gonna run into the tornado. All right.
Apparently, there was a Field of Dreams 2 that was a short that he was in, so that counts.
All right, yeah, let's call that.
I don't think that I'm gonna scroll through this whole thing.
No, you can.
It's been in a lot of movies that I've never seen.
It might be easier to just Google Kevin Costner.
Yeah. What? Why are some of these movies made?
I don't know why my phone.
Tin Cup, he hit a golf ball like a baseball with a shovel. Counts.
That counts for you. Okay.
So for me, I would say my favorite Kevin Costner movie would be Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Okay,
I'm not joking.
That's fair.
I really enjoy it. The Rickman, bro. The
Rickman is hard to deny.
Morgan Freeman before he was too old to do stuff.
So if we're talking just full feature-length films, he has made Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, For the Love of the Game. 3.
Yeah.
I had 2, you had 4.
Yeah.
We even it out and come out at 3 for Kevin Costner baseball movies.
But I will give an honorable mention to Waterworld. I really liked Waterworld.
Not as a baseball movie, of course.
Not as a baseball movie.
It's hard to steal third when you're like waiting at like.
I don't know. He's got if it's in water, he did have fins. He had web feet and gills.
Did he have web feet in that?
Web feet and gills.
Oh my god, I haven't seen that in a long time.
He was a mutant.
He was a man. I need to see Waterworld again. I didn't realize it was a precursor to the new X-Men.
I think it was much after.
Much after, yeah. It's like, well, that's how it ends. Yeah. You know, there's the mutant apocalypse where the world gets drowned in water, and then Kevin Costner saves our lives.
Yeah.
The ice caps melt, and you're saved by Kevin Costner.
Do you remember Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh yeah.
The girl who played Deb is a little girl from Waterworld.
No shit.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay, that's good to know.
And then of course Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper was in that.
He took my eye. He was the main bad guy.
Okay, yeah.
Crazy fucker. He did a slew of bad guys around the time because that was around the time of Speed.
Well, Dennis Hopper is just such an extraordinarily bad guy looking human being.
Yeah,
like it's hard to look at him and think that's a warm face.
Yeah, you know? I think it's the pointy nose.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Yeah, he looks
I wonder
elfish.
If now that you say that, I wonder if he was up for the Joker in the Tim Burton movies.
I can only hope he was up for the Joker in the Tim Burton.
I don't think he would have done it bad. I think Nicholson kind of nailed it.
Sure.
But
so, other than Leto, I don't think anybody's done Joker badly. I think they've just done.
I don't even think Leto was bad so much as if you're going to do it, make a whole movie out of it, and we'll see what happens. I guess they didn't put enough in that movie. Okay, I remember when I said I like all the DC movies.
Sure. We can agree to disagree on that.
Suicide Squad was not great. But I think Leto, I don't think you had enough information to tell. He could have been fine.
You need more screen time for Joker.
Yeah. You don't know.
But
I could have done without the tattoos.
On the note of Suicide Squad, when I think the words Killer Croc, the first thing that goes through my head is and should be gold velour FUBU hoodie. And if that's not what goes through your mind,
I really like Killer Croc, and I really was disappointed with what they did with him.
Well, because he's like 5'9" in that movie.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what are you
so bummed out.
Really? You couldn't just found somebody, on the street?
I'm sure Dave Bautista could have fitted in between Guardians of the Galaxies.
Dave Bautista as Killer Croc. He's
6'4", jacked as shit.
Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm mulling it around.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't have done bad.
Yeah. I think Will Smith was fucking good in that movie.
Well, that's because that's Will Smith's job, is to make a movie watchable.
Yeah.
His whole career is based on going, hey, they've got this piece of shit, but we've got a lot of money on it, and we need to make it watchable. What do we do?
Yeah.
You bring in Will Smith.
Okay, so we got this movie where this father and son go back to Earth. Nope, he didn't do it.
Oh God!
Didn't do it.
No, that's because it wasn't him. If he was the main character, if he was the boy, if he was the boy and Jaden Smith was the dad, and you just have Jaden Smith badly acting as like the father figure,
it would have been infinitely better movie.
It would have been amazing. You would have had like Will Smith running around in his little like unitard and kicking the shit out of aliens and
fucking smooth.
Oh, it really is. And at one point or another, you would have gotten that like classic, oh hell no, and you would have just been like, this is perfect.
What did you think of Bright?
Honestly, I liked it.
I liked it too. I hope they make a sequel. I think they're going to.
So this is actually a perfect segue for me, and I feel like it's a subject that needs to be brought up with everybody.
Okay.
Films have two distinct categories of quality.
Okay.
There's enjoyability, and there is quality. A movie can be a 10 in one and a 0 in the other. It can be a 5 in both.
For example, I don't want to bring this up on another podcast. The Nolan versus Batmans were shot very well, and they were done, and they were so shitty as a movie.
You know, it's funny you mention that, because I've had this conversation a lot too, and I feel like it's a conversation that comes up anytime you get people with beers in their hands who watch movies. People are going to discuss the Nolan movies as like,
God, they were shot so well. How about this? If the title was anything besides Batman and Christian Bale, I don't know, had a round head, it would have been fucking tastic.
So here's
he was a horrible Batman.
Sure.
It's bad Batman. Well, good movies, bad Batman.
Honestly, okay. And this is another contentious opinion that I bring up a lot, and people tend to just kind of forget is just a fact. Best Bruce Wayne so far, Ben Affleck.
Yeah, no. So when they announced that he was going to be Batman, everyone's like, oh, no. And I looked everyone in the fucking face and said, no, you don't understand. You're about to see the best Batman you've ever seen. Right?
I see, and I was a naysayer. When I went into it, I was like, no. He's going to suck ass. And then he blew my goddamn mind.
No, he's the fucking perfect for it. And I wish he wasn't having backstage disagreements, and he's not going to do it anymore or whatever.
Oh, really?
That really bumps me out.
That sucks. I didn't know
because he's the best fucking Batman. Also, because of his age. You will never tell a Batman origin story. That's the biggest problem right now with superhero movies. That's why the new Spider-Man did so well, is because we already know.
Yeah, everybody knows who Spider-Man is.
Yeah, Batman versus Superman. We didn't tell backstories. Just go for it.
Yeah.
And Iron Man started off Marvel, and that's fine because you're starting a franchise. Right. But like, who else got an origin story? The Hulk did, if you count.
It's all flashbacks. I mean, it's all flashbacks.
But we don't need it. But
even with Edward Norton's movie, there was almost no actual origin. It like kind of starts with him coming from Brazil, and that whole thing. So you're not dealing with that.
Yeah, and I hope they catch on. Like, it doesn't matter how many times we reboot, whatever. We all know how people got there, or we don't care. Just fucking show the story, the movie.
Well, and keep in mind, X-Men. The one that really started the trend of the idea of the new superhero movie.
60s version?
No.
I mean, like, it was set in the 60s. With the Bay Pigs.
No. Not X-Men First Class. X-Men. I'm talking the Bryan Singer, the first Bryan Singer movie, the X-Men from like the 2002, 2001.
Okay.
So honestly, there's a reason those set off the chain reaction of excellent comic book movies. It's because it was an accessible director. I'm not a fan of Bryan Singer personally, but he's an accessible
especially
director.
Not now.
No, especially not now.
He is basically got Me Too tattooed on his forehead.
He's a huge piece of shit, but he was an accessible director who knew how to put together a movie to one extent or another. There was no origin story bullshit. The only origin was how Logan became a part of the X-Men, but not how he got his powers.
Yeah, was it? I mean, they tried to do that movie.
Oh, they tried. It wasn't great.
Yeah, no, it wasn't great. And it wasn't bad. A lot of people give a shit. I don't think it was that bad. It just wasn't great.
Yeah.
Well, here's another thing. Here's a very unpopular opinion. I didn't like Logan.
Really?
I don't want my Wolverine to be a fucking limo driver. All right? He's always going to be better. He would go live in the Canadian wilderness before he did that shit. That's horseshit.
Okay, so to be fair, it's based off an entirely different
I
series
know
of
it's
comics.
Old Man.
Yeah.
Old Man Logan was still Logan.
Sure. But here's the thing. If you take that movie and separate it from your existing perception of the X-Men lore,
can't do it.
It's fair enough. But if you can, like myself, it's probably
it's amazingly shot movie.
It's so
well done.
Good. And like
it's so well done.
Oddly enough, despite being like a huge like cinemaphile and having in my own opinion, in my own deeply inflated opinion, a fairly highbrow estimation of film as a medium, my hands down favorite Marvel movies are Logan, Deadpool 1, and Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
I actually like Guardians 2 better than 1.
I hear that a lot, and I see why, but I feel like Guardians 1 was and this is the important distinction. It was a better movie, not necessarily a more entertaining movie. That's where I get back to that rating scale where you got the two distinct concepts.
I thought it was more fun the second one, and also I really like
Kurt Russell.
No, well, I mean, yes, I really, really like Kurt Russell.
That's fair.
To me, Kurt Russell plays in a different movie the best character in film history.
I'm assuming you're talking about Jack Burton.
Burton.
Fucking, oh my God. Yes. No. High five.
Jack Burton. Me.
Oh my.
Fuck. Jack Burton is the best character in the history of film.
I have a standing belief about the nature of Jack Burton as a character and to justify the whole fucking movie in a way that, to me, really solidifies it. Jack Burton is, from the very beginning, they establish him as a man who is quintessentially American, but more than American. Jack Burton is a point of anti-magic.
Okay.
And here's why. He has no sense of spirit. His mind and spirit are, quote, going north and south.
Yeah.
He is so devoid of his connection to his chi, to his sense of spirit, to his sense of self.
Okay.
It's just pure ego. And so no magic works on him. Lopan himself, the legendary alchemist and sorcerer from ancient China, cannot bring magic to bear on him because he's just void.
I guess I have a different way of looking at it. You want to know why I think he was able to take down Lopan?
Why?
It's all in the reflexes.
It's all in the reflexes.
Dude,
God,
he's got
so good.
How did you get that?
I don't know. That was totally
Kurt Russell.
Oh
yeah.
No, he is really one of my favorite. Honestly, that movie.
Damn it, when some 7-foot wild-eyed monster taps the back of your favorite head up against the bar wall, asks you if you paid your dues. Have you paid your dues, Jack? Yes, sir. The check is in the mail.
Oh my God, that whole movie, like top to bottom, is just hands down the best B movie in the world.
So, okay, I want to get back to Guardians and why I like 2 better. But before I do, I had a coworker tell me they're going to remake Big Trouble in China, and I was like, "Shut up! No, this who can you possibly? There's no one that can play Jack Burton." And he said, "Well, they're going to get The Rock," and I'm like, "Oh, he might be able to do it." The Rock might be able to play Jack Burton.
Only if they don't grit it up. Don't bring me this bullshit.
No, be silly.
Yeah.
You have to be fucking. You have to make it a not Tropic Thunder. The Rundown kind of action movie.
Sure. But again, The Rundown, I feel like it's
fucking Stifler. That's who could play him.
Don't get me wrong.
That's who could play him.
You think
Stifler could play Jack Burton?
Stifler is Jack Burton.
Huh? You want a little Mr. Thunder? What about Lightning over here?
I don't know. I feel like it's so essential that whoever plays Jack Burton has to be able to sell his own confidence and yet be a
doofus.
But more importantly, be totally incapable of actually being a badass.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that Kurt Russell definitely can be a badass. I mean, just watch Tombstone.
Sure, but at the same time, you ever plugged someone before? Yeah, sure I have. It's like, no,
absolutely not.
The whole time during the fight, he's just trying to pull the knife out of his boot. No, he was a fucking doofus.
He's the American dork.
It was great.
It was perfect.
Oh, fucking love that movie.
Big Trouble in Little fucking China, man.
Stifler can play it.
Kindergarten. Halloween came. My mom made me a Lopan costume.
Nice.
Nobody got it. Nobody got it.
So this other podcast I do called the Northwest Mystery Show, NW Mystery Show on all media. Emily did a Rocky Horror fuck night where she was David Lopan. It was amazing.
Outstanding.
Oh yeah, it was great. Anyway, I think that the difference between so Guardians 1 was kind of the Guardians, and they were kind of getting the band together and trying to figure out. And the second one, they were fucking palsy pals on one part, but also I really like Michael Rooker.
I do love Michael Rooker. I like him. I like him in the way that you like drinking too much wine and smoking cigarettes after a breakup. That kind of like uncomfortable kind of like where I like you, but you're also kind of bad for me.
Yeah, I like him when he's playing like in the movie Mallrats.
Oh,
he's the girl's dad, and he's a dick. But he sells it in such a good way. Like he's okay being the brunt of it.
Yeah,
like he sells that off.
Well, and I feel like he's so good at being a bad guy who's not altogether bad. I wasn't as much of a fan of him in Mallrats because he had to be completely a bad person.
He was.
But I like...
But he was definitely the butt of the joke.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think... I don't know. I feel like he's best in roles where he just gets to be who I imagined Michael Rooker himself to be. This person who's perceived as a bad person, but has like
yeah.
a heart of gold.
When I picture him in real life, I think he's the nicest guy in the world.
Sure.
That's just what I think. Because like every time I see him outside of a role, he's smiling and just fucking laughing. I'm like, okay, let's go have beers.
He seems like he's so
He needs to be
glad.
on this show.
He seems like he's so glad to have the job he has, to have the fan base he has.
He appreciates it for sure, which is a big thing with like, which is why Christian Bale's such a piece of shit, is because he doesn't appreciate where he's at in life.
I feel like
I'm asking you a question. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah, for me, there's a big difference between
your job is to make pretend. All right, fucking chill out. Take your millions of dollars and go play pretend.
Sure. I feel like Michael Rooker is probably one of the most successful character actors, and I feel like he exemplifies the idea of what a character actor should be.
Sure.
He knows the role he does. He knows who he is. He knows how to do the job well.
He's a regular fucking Brian Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy. Why is that name not coming to me?
Oh, he's in a lot of stuff. Go look him up.
Oh yeah,
look him up real quick, and you'll be like, "Oh, that guy."
I'm gonna pull out my secret pants robot. And
Patton Oswalt even did a bit about him where he met him. And he's like, character actors. Who gives a fuck if we're fat? It was a Brian Dennehy line.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Brian Dennehy.
God damn it, yeah.
FX and fucking
sure.
The Contender. I don't know. It was one with Cuba Gooding Jr. and
you're naming all the movies I have never seen.
So yeah, I think Marvel's doing a bang up job, and they just keep getting better. What's your favorite? What'd you say your favorite was?
My favorite Marvel movies are Guardians of the Galaxy, Deadpool, and Logan.
I say Civil War for me. Which, by the way, Captain America: Civil War was not a Captain America movie. That was an Avengers movie.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're doing with that title, but whatever.
I
Winter Soldier was good.
I liked Winter Soldier.
Civil War was fucking dope.
Why
didn't you like about it?
I did not like Civil War.
Is this what we talked about? Okay. So I kind of wanted to get in this because I was wondering, and I think what's happening is, since I'm so balls deep in comics, the holes you're seeing, I'm automatically filling them in.
Hold on. It's important. I'm not seeing holes. I'm seeing bad writing.
Go ahead.
So
I want to hear
keep in mind, I read Civil War. I loved it. It's actually one of my favorite crossover events.
It was amazing.
I feel like it was probably,
which is so sad that Civil War 2 was not great.
Yeah. I actually never got around to reading Civil War 2 specifically because I heard it was bad.
Don't.
Are you ready for number 2?
But Hydra Cap, definitely read. You heard about Hydra Cap?
I heard about it. Yeah, I didn't read it because I just assumed it was non-canon.
Oh no! It's canon as fuck, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. It's Cap with a different upbringing, still fighting for what he believes to be right.
Okay.
And by the way, anyone who ever says, Cap's a Nazi, Hydra is not Nazis. Hydra is not Nazis.
Sure.
Hydra used Nazis because they felt that was the path where we'll infiltrate them, and if they win, we're going to take over the world. Hydra doesn't give a shit what you look like, who you are. What they want is complete rule over the world because they feel they can run it better and everyone will be happier. But they do it through fear and force, and it's bad, right?
Yeah, aggressive conservative nationalism.
Right. National globalism because they're going to run the whole fucking world. But they're not Nazis. At all.
Sure.
Okay, I just want to put that...
I got you. I'm into
it
that.
Makes me so angry when people say, Cap's a Nazi now. Fuck you. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All right.
You have strong feelings. That's good.
I do. I can lend you the comics if you want, because I got that whole run.
I might take a look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really good because of how powerful it is. Because if you got such an iconic character as Captain America, and you bitch flip him, it's like
bitch flip.
Yeah.
Never heard that.
Well, what's fucked up is, okay. Slight spoilers.
Oh, I'm gonna have to say a hard pass on that.
No, because you need to know this going in because it didn't happen in the thing.
Okay.
It's a prequel. You need to know this going in.
Okay.
There's a slice of a cosmic cube which became a character who was like a 4-year-old girl which acted like she was 9. She made all this happen.
Oh, so this is a reality alteration, like
right. So you need to know that going in. So that's what it wasn't. Just Captain America was.
This is
Hydra.
So this is like a House of M level event.
Yes.
Okay.
She made this reality exist.
Okay.
That's what you need to know going in.
Sure.
All right. Civil War. Bad writing. Go. I'm almost ready for number 2.
Okay. Well, if you're almost ready for number 2, I'm going to urinate real quick, and I'll be right back.
Could have done that during my rant about Nazi Cap.
I could have done that during your rant.
I don't know. It really bothers me when people say that Cap was a Nazi. Hydra aren't Nazis. Hydra are bad. That's not the question. It's semantics. It's like Cap's a bad guy now is much different from Cap's a Nazi now, you know. And while he's gone, I will tell you that the cosmic cube plays a major role. Actually, it played a major role before him because that was the what was it called? Something Hill, where a bunch of bad guys got out. As it turns out, S.H.I.E.L.D. was taking a bunch of bad guys that they captured in Pleasant Hill and wiping their minds and changing their memories. So there was this community of all these former bad guys. Have you heard of Pleasant Hill? As he's back in the room. It was a prequel to this where it turns out S.H.I.E.L.D. was running this community where they, instead of imprisoning bad guys, they would use this cosmic cube and wipe their memories and give them new memories. And they were just citizens in this town, Pleasant Hill.
Okay. I've never heard of this.
And then that broke.
Okay. So when I talk about bad writing here, it's very important that we establish that this is not my opinion based off of the comics. Oh, we're doing number 2? Okay, stand by.
Right. No, you're basing it purely on this movie.
I feel like
alone.
I feel like it's important that I have to separate the two, because if I don't, then I can go into all the reasons why it's a completely different story and nowhere near as good as the actual comics.
Sure.
So, first off, and probably most importantly, no one in that story is reflective of who they are as a character. Every character behaves in just the most asinine, inconsistent way you can possibly imagine.
I guess I don't agree.
Okay, so
no, you can do other points, or we can stick on this one.
So let's. I want to take a moment to establish why I feel this way.
Okay.
Tony Stark.
Yes, noted alcoholic.
Noted
which
alcoholic.
They didn't touch on enough in the movie. That's my only gripe with Iron Man 1.
Noted egotistical, self-aggrandizing, narcissistic alcoholic who cares about nothing except himself.
I don't agree with that statement.
Fair. In the movies, though, they do a pretty good job of establishing that the only people he cares about are people who serve him.
I don't agree. I think that a lot of times they let it slip out that he actually does care, but he's trying to keep a mask. For example, how he deals with Spider-Man in this movie.
Yeah, but hold on.
But all the other ones too. Rhodey, how he deals with him is he lets it slip out sometimes. He's trying to keep this facade, but when things really get tough, he cracks, and you see his inner self.
Sure. And I see what you're saying. But it's very easy to take that same point and look at it from the other perspective.
Okay.
Keep in mind, Rhodey from the very beginning was a tool to him.
I disagree.
He was a quick, direct connection into the military. Somebody who would bat for him and was influential enough to actually matter in that regard. It allowed him certain special privileges that as a civilian he should not have had.
But on the other hand, Rhodey was one of the few people, because they were such close friends, that got to talk to him that no one else could talk to him with.
Sure, but I'm just trying to give the other perspective here. So there's definitely, you could see it that way, and that's entirely valid. But my point being that from the beginning, they establish him as his relationship being very beneficial.
I agree that's how it started. But, okay, here's also what I'm saying. I think when we get to movies, we got to squeeze everything to 3 hours. In those 3 hours, you don't see all the times that they had fucking barbecues and played volleyball with, Tom Cruise.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that kind of relationship is implied with the way that Rhodey can talk to him that no one else would.
Sure, but what I'm trying to suggest is that if you view it from a different lens, the same relationship can be seen as borderlining abusive.
Yeah, if you're really cynical.
Let's be cynical. Let's be cynical for a minute here. So
I would say that on the surface, that's what it is, but I think that they
So let me just be cynical for a moment.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm
not disagreeing with what you're saying.
So you've got Rhodey, his military contact that allows him special privileges he shouldn't have. You've got Happy, who is an obsequious yes man who's there solely to operate as his meat shield, and he treats him with pretty obvious, like, borderlining disdain in the first movie.
Yeah, but I mean, he directs the movie, so
sure. And then you've got Pepper Potts, who is his assistant.
He just wants to bang.
Well, yeah, it's almost too obvious that he just kind of wants to bang her, and that she's so. Like, she's the only person who's willing to tell him no. She's a mother figure who he also wants to sleep with. It's a deeply Oedipal relationship they have.
I disagree.
Sure.
And that you see that as very telling.
Okay. Yeah, sure, yeah.
Oh,
Mom,
shit.
if you're out there.
Oh, boy.
But, so, my point being, he has extremely narcissistic, self-aggrandizing behavior.
Yes.
And then in Civil War, out of nowhere, because one woman talks about one offhand casualty to something he didn't do, he suddenly drops all pretense of self-importance and suddenly decides to endanger not only himself, but everybody else in his team over accountability that will actually accomplish nothing.
Okay.
So that's
you can look at it in that lens, and I see what you're saying. However, I feel like over the movies, if you watch them as a whole, it's been wearing on him.
Sure. And I
what I mean?
I see what you're saying. The idea of this, like, PTSD kind of thing.
It's not that one lady. It's that one lady after every fucking else thing that happened.
But you kind of have to take the movie.
What I just said, but in English.
You kind of have to take the movie from its own, on its own merits, though.
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's a series of movies. It's the MCU. It's not like the MC Iron Man 3.
On that, I wholeheartedly disagree. I feel like despite it being a series, it's not like this too. It is a continuation of a world,
sure.
But each film should on its own be capable of sustaining itself.
I agree that every movie should be good on its own if you didn't watch the rest of them. On the other hand, I believe that character development has gone through all of the movies.
Absolutely. Just like you should watch all, like, 7 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer before you judge Spike as a character.
Oh, yes, that is very that is very Tony Stark arc right there.
But you can't expect every person to have consumed, dozens of hours of media for the sake of, one film.
There's dozens? Literally dozens.
There's dozens of us.
Yeah. Look, you're not wrong. I just think that.
Well, if you're going to stop me after each of my points, this is going to take hours.
Oh, or you keep going. Go ahead.
So we have him established as
I
a
have
character.
hours, by the way. Go ahead.
Good. So we have established this character as extremely narcissistic and self-important, and yet suddenly he's in this movie. It seems very sudden, even with the established information about him being, more conscious of his actions and so on and so forth. It seems like really sharp to suddenly have him be like, nope, we're gonna do this, and we're not even gonna talk about it. He brings this up 3 days before the Accords are supposed to be ratified. So the Sokovia Accords, for anybody who's not paying attention,
He's already been working on them.
Yeah, it's like,
and again, I'm gonna look at this through the lens of a reader. That shit happened in Civil War, where he did shit behind the scenes before he sprung it on everyone.
But you're not allowed to bring up the comics, because we bring up the comics, we have to bring up all this other shit.
And again, I think that's where obviously my lens comes from.
I know, and we could have another discussion about how different the two are.
And again, I don't disagree with anything you said so far.
Okay, good. I appreciate that.
I disagree with my lens of it because all my points are. Yeah, but like I saw this other thing.
Yeah, no, I get you. So we've got that. Then we have,
and especially that last point you made, where he brings up in the comics. I mean, he worked with the fucking president. He got Peter Parker to expose himself on national TV, like he really because of the Illuminati, and he's a futurist, and he keeps bringing up being a futurist.
So then we have the opposite.
And by the way,
side.
I was Team Iron Man on this whole fucking thing.
So we have the opposite side of the coin. So we have Steve Rogers. And Steve Rogers, the titular character, kind of has the short end of the stick where the writing is concerned, because his motivations are so spurious and so irrational. It's almost hard. So
I agree.
Here I have to bring up the comics, because in the comics it's the Superhuman Registration Act. They are trying to get superhumans, anybody of superhuman talent,
even Howard the Duck,
even Howard the Duck, to represent themselves as that and have themselves registered. This sounded an awful lot like the registration of Jews.
No. Jews couldn't shoot lightning bolts out of their fucking eyes.
No. But my point,
you know what I mean?
I have to get to my point. So the reason Steve Rogers, one of the major reasons why Steve Rogers was like red fucking flag, we're not doing this, is because he was like, I remember this kind of talk. I remember this shit. That was the main crux of the argument of that side.
Yeah,
of things.
I really disagree with that.
So, and here's the thing. We're not here to discuss the merits of the argument. We're here to discuss the difference between a valid argument for a character and complete bullshit.
And it was bullshit.
Yeah. So,
but it was in the comics too.
Yeah, it was in the comics too. But at least in the comics, he had a reason. In this, he doesn't have a reason.
Yeah.
Steve Rogers has no reason to go, oh, accountability? Like I had in the military? Like every military body has to have in order to function? Yeah. Deal.
Yeah, I agree.
He aggrandized the military, the U.S. Army. That was his whole goal, was to get there and do good. And in order to do good, you got to sometimes be willing to take a mission that might end in you dying. You know,
I don't think it was. And they discuss this. It's not taking a mission that he didn't want to take. It was them saying no to a mission that he felt that he had the authority to say, we need to go in there or people are going to die.
Sure, but to me, it makes more sense for him to be like, I'll sign your paper. But if something happens and you tell me I can't do something about it, then your paper is going to be standing up to me as well as
charge me.
Would.
Charge me.
Yeah, charge me. He
I
would
know,
do his job.
And I agree.
Yeah.
And by the way, throughout the entire comics, I was in that boat too. It's like, oh, Cap, you dummy.
It makes I can see, but here's the thing: the comic Civil War. The conflict makes sense. You look at it, and you're like, I see why he has this view. I see why people would.
But they had
deny
a
this.
year and 83 comics. I'm pulling that number out of my ass, but I mean, it crossed so many comics and so much time that they had a chance to tell that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like it came at a good time. I feel like it was relevant for us to be reminded of that in the time when Civil War was being written, especially because it had been so long since we'd been reminded of the nature of registering human beings. That concept is a weighty one. Even if you agree with it or don't agree with it, it's a heavy idea.
Again, I didn't look at it like that. I looked at it from the other lens, whereas you got a gun, you got to register it. And by the way, I'm pro-gun guy. Mm-hmm. We don't have to get in that now. But you...
Right, but
gun control exists because we need to have gun control exist. So you have a gun, you got to register it. If you... can shoot lightning bolts out of your fucking eyes. We got to know who can do that, because if you do it, even accidentally, we got to deal with it, bro.
Sure, and that's fair. But my issue there is that Hafthor Bjornsson, the mountain, doesn't have to register his body. He was born, fortunately, a meat mountain.
Yeah, but he also has taken a lot of supplements.
Sure.
But as big as he is...
He could literally tear my head off with his bare hands.
A lot of people can. A lot of people can.
Okay, well, you can look at it however you want.
Here's the thing. He can't do it from a half a mile away.
Sure, Tony Stark can't think you to death, but he's a super intelligence. So
right, that shouldn't be registered.
And that's where you have the problem.
But you have a fucking Iron Man machine that you go around and vigilante
and see,
that's where you got to register.
Townsy, this is where we have the problem, because you're talking about... See, I didn't want to bring politics into a discussion, and I think we should still definitely avoid it.
I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
No, I don't. I refuse to talk about politics. That's where I draw a clear line.
Sure.
But that's a hard line to draw. And while you might not agree with it, and while you might feel like Cap's arguments are spurious, he has merit. His points have merit, just like your points have merit.
It's a hard line to draw in the real world. Mm-hmm. In the comic world, not so much.
Sure.
Because people are actively doing shit. Right?
Yeah, you've got...
So I don't think in their world it's too much of a problem to draw that line.
Yeah, fair. I guess my point being that despite however fervent you might feel about the point, reading the comics, you can't look at Steve Rogers and be like, there's absolutely no reason you would be saying that.
I did. Fuck that guy.
But you saw his point. You saw his point to an extent. I thought
it was out of character for Captain America.
I could not see Captain America's point in the movie, and that's my problem.
Sure.
The idea that this entire film is built on this us versus them idea, but not only could I not understand their perspectives, their positions, I couldn't understand anybody's. Nobody in that movie does anything that makes sense.
Tony Stark wanted to whoop that dude's ass. Made perfect sense.
Sure.
You killed my mom. It's like, I was like, oh, I from the outside, you'd be like, oh, you're Iron Man. You should think past it. But you just found out he killed your mom.
So I just rewatched it, and you're right. He would have done that. And the reason why is because for some reason, nobody can even begin to fathom. Steve Rogers at no point thought to tell anybody that Bucky Barnes was under total control of other people. Iron Man didn't even know. He didn't even know that he was under that control. Literally, all he thought was that this guy had been working with the Russians, I guess, and he killed my mom. Well, then so it makes perfect sense that it was his goddamn
So he said, but it doesn't matter. If you tell me you're brainwashed and you killed my mom, I'm still going to beat the shit out of you.
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't what? Be
brainwashed? I wouldn't hurt somebody.
Oh, I would.
If I found out, like, so let's
we've talked off mic about how we both don't really agree with revenge.
Correct.
Until you talk about my mom. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, this person was brainwashed, but he killed 12 people I don't know. It's like, oh, we need to get to him some help. You killed my mom. Oh, I'm going to put a beating on. And I don't think Iron Man really wanted to kill him. Sure. He just wanted to put a beating on him. Mm. I get that.
But when you put a beating on somebody with a unibeam, they don't tend to have a face.
No, not if you're a Winter Soldier. You got that super serum. You got that super serum, son. You can take it.
He's still made of flesh. Like a unibeam would sear through his entire torso.
But that's what. But he didn't use that, did he? He just tried to punch him. He tried to punch him.
He tries to use some hand beams a couple of times.
But his hand beams, as shown, shock people.
Sure, yeah.
Right.
And I mean,
you know what I mean. He just wants to beat up the guy who killed his mom.
Well, I agree with you, and I see the point. But literally, all it would have taken was before all of this happening, Steve Rogers being like, "Hey, I want to let you know something." Bucky Barnes literally cannot control himself.
Yes, he could have stopped it before it happened.
Yeah, call him a gun. Just to refer to him as a gun. He's a living weapon.
Or Cap could have, for some reason, got him in a cell of some sort that Iron Man couldn't get through. Okay. Hey, look. Guys, he was brain controlled. He couldn't help it. We're trying to get him some help. He killed your mom. Well, then he's going to go bang on the thing and get real frustrated and then sit down and cry and be very upset. And then we'll talk it out later.
So honestly, that's the thing.
It's about the initial aggression.
That's the thing that bothered me the most is like the second he learned that Bucky was in Bucharest, why didn't he turn to Ross and say, if I get to go after him, if I get to be the one to take care of this, I will sign your stupid fucking paper. But that's the deal. I'll sign the paper. You let me be the only one to bring him in.
Here's another thing you have to understand. And this is a quote I've heard several times. Good decisions make for bad TV.
Yes.
Bad decisions make for good TV.
So it's funny you should mention that. Did you ever get around to seeing Alphas?
I tried. I tried so hard.
So it's funny you should say that because you just said the quote that is the reason Alphas died because good decisions make bad TV. I disagree for myself. For everybody else, I agree. Other people don't like good decisions on TV. I love them.
Well, you can make good decisions and then have a twist. But that's the only way to do it. And there's only so many times you can make a twist.
I don't know. There's nothing I love more than people getting upset, realizing that they're being upset irrationally, and then talking out a problem. Like, to me, there's a heady rush.
I like it when they do that sometimes.
Sure.
Do you watch DC's Legends of Tomorrow?
No.
I feel like they do that balance. Sometimes they do rational shit, and sometimes they talk it out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. I mean, I really like that show. And I hate time travel. I hate time travel.
That's because time travel is a piece of shit.
It's so stupid. But they do it in such a way that, like, it's shenanigans time travel.
Sure.
Because the real story exists outside of time.
Doesn't involve Booster Gold at any point?
No, I love Booster Gold.
Where the fuck is Booster Gold?
Rip Hunter's there.
Okay.
Rip Hunter makes the team.
Better.
But Booster Gold is my favorite DC character of all time.
He's such a golden piece of shit. I love him.
I actually want to write a Booster Gold story, and here's how it starts.
Okay.
He fucked up once. By the way, current Batman, he fucked up Batman. Batman and Catwoman are getting married. For reals.
Okay.
And for a wedding present, Booster Gold went back in time and made it so Batman's parents didn't get killed. Nothing good came of it. It's very bad. It's very bad. So this would be the perfect time for me to enact my comic that I want to write of Booster Gold. And it actually involves Killer Croc, who I said I like earlier.
Okay.
So Booster Gold, he's walking down the street and he's like, "Oh, fucking Batman, tell me got to do it." Based off of one of the cartoons of Justice League where Booster Gold has his own episode where he saves the world.
Okay.
But in the start of it, he's like, "All right, let's go." And Batman's like, "Oh, you're on crowd control." It's like, motherfucker. So he's walking down the street just bitching about being on crowd control. Like, he bumps into Croc the opposite way. He's like, "Oh shit!" And Croc's like, "Oh, you." And Booster's like, "So do we need to fight now?" He's like, "I don't know. Want to grab a beer?" He's like, "Aren't you like that Buster Gold, you know?" So anyway, so the story goes down where Booster Gold is stuck in this timeline because Rip Hunter is tired of his last bullshit. Okay? Because I don't want time travel, but I love Booster Gold. And then Killer Croc is like, "Yeah, I kind of got a taste of being a good guy in Suicide Squad, and I just want to be a good guy. Also, I hate living in the sewers." So he starts crashing on Booster Gold's couch. Eventually, and so they want to solve crimes, but they Croc can't come up to the tower, and so they work with the Question.
Okay.
There is a lot of random. So current DC is like there's 4 guys. Like, it's not the old school where there's 100 characters. So in this comic, you start reintroducing, Zatanna and fucking the Elongated Man and all those guys, right?
That's Zatanna and the Elastic Man, for those listening.
Who's the Elastic Man?
The Elastic Man.
Plastic Man and Elongated Man.
Is there a lot?
The Elongated Man and Plastic Man, same guys.
Okay.
They're similar guys.
Gotcha.
Similar. But Plastic Man is, I don't know, he's in the Terrifics now, but yeah, Elongated Man he's the goofball, voiced by Jeremy Piven in the cartoons.
Of course he is.
And bring back those guys, like just random BC level to help him out.
Sure.
And so eventually Batman's going to show up and be like, "You're working with Croc. I got my eye on you."
Yeah.
Right? And you can totally heel flip Croc to a good guy as they did Clayface recently in this sort of format. I think that would be a lot of fun. Just fucking goofballs doing goofball shit and solving crimes.
Honestly, I just like to see more DC that doesn't suck.
It's been really good since Rebirth. I don't know.
Oh, I'm talking film.
Oh, I love
They're
one.
all a giant pile of shit.
Justice League was so fun.
It's just
okay.
A bunch
Hold
of
a second. Let me ask you something. Batman versus Superman.
Biggest piece of shit.
I had one problem with the whole movie. The rest of it was exactly what I expected. Ugh. What did you expect?
Something watchable.
Okay, that tells me nothing. That's not. You just did not give an answer right there. What did you expect?
Okay, if I'm being honest, what I expected was exactly what I got. A big piece of shit.
That's what I expected, and I loved it.
Okay.
I loved it. A lot of action. The only part I didn't like. So what should have happened?
Okay.
When Superman's mom got taken care of, kidnapped or whatever, he went and landed. Batman's got his Hulkbuster armor on.
Sure.
He goes up and he goes boop boop boop, and Superman does that first push. At that time, he should have said, "Hey, I need your help. They have my mom." Batman would have been like, "Oh fuck, I gotta help him now," and then continue on with the rest of the movie. Also, don't make your first villain Doomsday. That should have been the Superman standalone movie. Superman shouldn't have died. He should have died on his own movie and then brought back. One more part. So Lex Luthor should not have been played by Jesse Eisenberg.
I think he would have been fine if he'd shaved his head.
No.
Look at his jaw. The kid's got a jaw.
He's a kid.
I think he would have been a great Lex Luthor if he shaved his head and didn't play him like a fucking dweeb. If he played him like a goddamn man, like knew how to actually speak with authority and be the Lex Luthor he's supposed to be, like drop all the giggly, stupid, jokery nonsense and actually have Jesse Eisenberg, like cold-eyed, shaved head, like ice cold, he would have been great. I think he would have been fantastic. I think he's got the look for it, and I think he can act it.
Okay, so in rebuttal, Here's who I think should have played him. Billy Zane. Oh, look at that. Look at that fucking glorious, goddamn, perfect Lex Luthor.
I don't know.
Perfect Lex Luthor.
I don't know.
Oh, my God. Don't look at that one. when he's not shaved. That's not it. But
no,
that's the fucking Lex. Look at that motherfucker.
He looks like
look at him in a suit.
He looks like a gold from Stargate. Like, to me, that's what he looks like.
He's not
looks
that big.
like
He's not that big.
I don't know. It's funny. He's extraordinarily 90s. And I think he would have been great in a Justice League movie in the 90s.
No. For me, anyway, Lex Luthor's in his 40s.
No. I'm saying, like, I'm not saying that he's not old enough, but I'm saying that the actor, his personality, his acting chops, the way he acts would have made a perfect sense in a Superman movie in the 90s.
So watch this.
But right now,
there's this TV show again with Deb from.
Well, let me know when you're ready.
Oh, I gotta catch up. With Deb from Napoleon Dynamite.
Sure.
She's in this TV show with the dude who played Benedict from True Blood. Okay, whatever. Random characters. And the story was about these juniors in a law firm. Their first years. Mm-hmm. The people who ran the law firm was some strong woman, and then her ex-husband, Billy Zane. And Billy Zane in that show was that's the reason I was like, he needs to play Lex Luthor. And this was 7 years ago. I was like, Billy Zane needs to play Lex Luthor based on that role.
Okay. I don't know. For me, Lex Luthor is all. So I should.
I gotta pee.
Okay. So I should clarify this. For me, Lex Luthor is my favorite DC character of all time, with like bar none. DC villain. And one of the main reasons for that is actually because of a comic called Man of Steel. If you haven't read it, I strongly recommend it because it tells it tells a Superman story through the perspective of Lex Luthor. And the core concept of this being that he sees Superman as a god. And Lex Luthor wants to be Prometheus. He believes that humanity deserves to have the knowledge, the science, the power that Superman has, and that by withholding it, he has elected himself judge, jury, and executioner for the world, and he feels himself beyond reproach and beyond responsibility to the species that raised him. And to me, as much as I disagree with the end result of Lex Luthor's mentality, the idea that because of the fact that Superman is basically withholding powerful, meaningful technology that could save lives, he is, for all intents and purposes, a villain. He plays
I'm going to crack this beer.
Oh, me too. 1 second.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I think Superman's a huge piece of shit.
So here's the thing. I love Superman as a character, actually.
I fucking hate that piece of shit.
It's important to me that I establish what Superman should have been in the DC universe. Superman should have died at Death and Return of Superman. He never should have returned. The death of Superman should have been final. Once he dies, he becomes a messianic figure. And imagine DC universe after that. Every time somebody starts to fuck up, every slip up, the weight of Superman's gaze falls on them. They're like, you're not being the hero that Superman knew you could have been. Instead, we have douchebag Superman doing absolutely nothing meaningful and having a bunch of boring fucking stories that go nowhere.
So, Rebirth is awesome. Because at the end of the New 52, Superman died.
He should stay dead, please.
No, hold on. There was this running comic called Lois and Clark, where an escaped from a different universe, Lois and Clark came over. Lois and Clark and their son John came here, and they've been living in, the story was their day-to-day life and dealing with shit. So when Superman died, other Clark, which by the way, if you go around the fucked up DC timeline, it's original.
It's a big
Superman.
ugly mess.
Yeah. But anyway, he comes up and he's going to take the mantle. And he's like, I'm Superman. Fine. Okay. There is a Superman. And it's so much better. He's so much better than old Superman. Oh my God. Because, first of all, when he first shows up, Batman's like, I don't know this fucking guy. I don't know this Clark. And so Superman's like, I get it. I'll earn your trust, but chill. I'm going to go beat up this guy. But everything he does, so Superman was always just like, I can't really put my weight into it, and I got to do the right thing, and at all costs. And this new Superman's like, Yeah, I'm gonna protect my family at all costs. I don't give a fuck.
Okay.
I'm more about the heart than like the just. It's more about there's more feeling to it.
I don't know.
So
I like the idea.
one of my favorite comics
Okay.
is while Batman and Catwoman are engaged, they go on a double date with Lois and Clark.
Of course.
It's fucking amazing. If you haven't read it, go find it.
So my problem there is that Superman, that works fine in modern age, but Superman has always been a messianic figure. And I think the only way to have sold him as a character was to have him die and stay dead.
Yeah.
And to me, having that final moment that like really...
and by the way, that Superman I fucking hated. This one has more humanity to him. He's not above it. I like it.
So I have a standing question that I like to ask people. Who is Superman's arch nemesis? The ultimate villain. The villain beyond all others that has posed the greatest threat, done the most damage, and had the most impact on him.
Over all of time or like recent years?
Through the whole of the like, take from whatever canon you want, the longest timeline.
I mean, probably Lex Luthor. However, Darkseid's up there.
Okay.
In completely different ways. Luthor is completely on Earth, and he has several times had a chance at shutting Superman down and been thwarted, whatever. But on Darkseid, it's more of a Darkseid is DC's Thanos,
right?
And so when Superman and Lex Luthor bicker, it's bickering. It's bickering, and Superman's just getting out of traps and like try not to let. When Superman and Darkseid fight, it's for the planet.
Sure.
So it's different. I would call them equal, just because of the severity of Darkseid. But Luthor has been more around. It's been more often and in many more different ways.
It's funny you should say that. You're the first person to mention Darkseid, and that's
what?
You're the first person to mention Darkseid.
How?
I don't even know. A lot of people came out with Brainiac, which I thought was a pretty substantial argument, but not enough.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
But yeah, you're the first person to mention Darkseid, which I like. But I'd say that you, like everybody else, is wrong. For one reason. There's only one actual villain that Superman has ever had to face.
What?
And that is Jonathan Kent.
His son?
His father.
His son?
Jonathan Kent.
Is his son currently?
His father.
No. His father is Jor-El.
His adoptive father.
Oh, you're talking about Kevin Costner.
His adoptive... yeah, I'm talking about Kevin Costner. So, Jonathan Kent...
What the fuck are you talking about right now? Bullshit.
Jonathan
Get the
Kent
fuck out of here.
Is Superman's ultimate villain.
God, you're so... I can't deal with you right now.
And I'll tell you exactly why.
Oh my God.
Because...
How has no one said Darkseid, though?
I don't know. But the reason why Jonathan Kent is his ultimate villain is because of one simple phrase. And it's been there since the beginning. The very beginning. The inception.
Hold back or they'll know who you are.
No.
Don't cook that football so hard. You know who Superman's number one villain is?
Can I finish?
No, let me finish.
Okay.
The horse that fucking kicked him off and broke his neck.
Oh, shame on you. You're a disgusting human being. You're a disgusting human being.
What's the opposite of Christopher Reeves?
Don't do this.
What's the opposite of Christopher Reeves?
I'm not going to do this for you. I'm not going to help you. I'm not going to help you do this.
It's not what you think. It's not what you think. What's the opposite of Christopher Reeves? What do you think? What's the?
I don't know. I don't know. Tell me.
You've always heard Christopher Walken, right?
I have.
Yeah, no, it's anyone who's alive.
You cheated that laugh out of me. That was a cheat. You cheated.
Oh shit. Okay, go ahead.
You keep laughing. You keep laughing. You yuck it up. Yuck it up. You let it sink in. Let it be a part of you.
Fuck, that was the best Superman. Superman 1 with Christopher Reeves was the best Superman movie.
Hard to argue with. So, Jonathan Kent is his ultimate villain because of a phrase that has been there since the first issue of Superman. Truth, justice, and the American way. Those words, with beyond any others, beyond anything that Lex Luthor has ever done, beyond any mechanism that Brainiac has ever concocted, let me finish, beyond anything that anyone else has ever done, the terms truth, justice, and the American way have been the greatest threat to the humanity in DC, and more importantly, to Clark Kent. Not Superman, but Clark Kent.
Okay.
The burden he placed on his son of excellence, not just excellence, but the excellence at the cost of any and all sense of self-accomplishment, self-actualization, the burden that he feels every single day, the mask he has to put on. And here's the more important part. He made Clark Kent the mask. Jonathan Kent put the weight of disguise on his own son. Batman wears a disguise. Excuse me, Bruce Wayne wears a disguise to become Batman.
Batman wears a disguise to become Bruce Wayne.
He really doesn't.
He really does, though. You know why?
Let me finish my point.
Okay, we'll get back to that. We'll get back to this.
So, most other heroes have to put on a disguise to become the hero that they want to be. But Clark Kent bears the burden, not his own, but the burden that his family and the burden that his country put on him to become something he is not.
I don't know that he's not.
Really read into DC. When you see Clark Kent, the man, that's who he does. He doesn't know how to be himself. He doesn't have a self.
I don't think he is Clark Kent.
When he puts on the cape and he becomes
feels
Superman,
free.
Does he? I never saw freedom.
Yeah.
I saw the weight of everything he has to be.
When he puts on the Clark Kent, he has to act clumsy. He has to act this way. He has to act that way. When he's Superman, he gets to just be fucking him.
Except that he reviles his own people. He hates the nature of what he has to be, and the very symbol he wears on his chest is emblematic of everything that Krypton shouldn't have stood for but did. He had to conquer Earth and can't. All the power that he has, all the strength that he has, the purpose it was there for.
To conquer Earth?
That was the core idea, is that he was supposed to guide the people. He was supposed to guide the world to see their potential or whatever.
With DC, you can pick and choose of the storylines because there's been so many.
I'd say that's at the core.
No, he was just go live because you're going to explode here.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. It was the last second. The world was exploding. There's a planet you can live on. Go.
I'd have to do my research, but I'm pretty sure they knew ahead of time.
And what you're talking about could have happened because DC has had so many fucking storylines.
But to me, even if that isn't the case, the idea that he has all this power, can't use it effectively, then when he can use it, he can never
use it effectively. Which is why I think he's a piece of shit.
Well, he can't.
I fucking hate Superman. I think he's a piece of shit. You know why?
In the same way that you can't move past your own hang-ups, he can't move past his.
Do you know why Superman's a piece of shit?
Why is that?
He could solve all crime, all war on the history of the planet, and he doesn't.
He can't solve them. He can stop them. There's a difference.
He can do a little bit more.
He can solve them. He can stop them. He can't solve them.
Sure.
He can enforce.
He could stop them. He's as fast as the speed of light.
And that's why Jonathan Kent is his greatest enemy, because he's the one who raised him to not cross those lines.
Maybe.
That's why he's... So here's the thing. If he had decided...
I think you're being silly because Darkseid was going to, destroy the universe.
Batman would have fixed it. Let's be honest.
You're right.
Batman would have solved the problem eventually.
Two things, Canon, real quick, I wanted to bring up. One time where there was multiple Batmans, and someone talking about like Darkwing and someone was reading minds.
Okay.
And like, who are you? And one of them thought Clark Kent, and the other one was Batman, and that's how they knew that was not Batman, because he said not Clark Kent, but Bruce Wayne. Another one was Wonder Woman was holding the lasso of truth. She said, "All right, what's everyone's names?" It was shenanigans. Diana and Clark Kent, Batman. He's Batman. Bruce Wayne's a fucking mask. Fair. To go back to something we briefly mentioned.
Sure.
It's canon that's... And, by the way, that's mental illness. Just so we're all on the same page. Batman has mental illness.
Oh, yeah. Batman's a sick human being.
But, sure. Maybe Jonathan Kent did all that. But Darkseid was going to,
it's important that I phrase it that way. I understand.
I get what you're saying.
I understand full well that he's not the greatest villain, but to me,
no, that's fine. It's a great fun thing to bring out because there's a lot to it.
And you have to phrase it that way, because otherwise people get in their heads that like you can't just walk up to people and be like, "Hey, Jonathan Kent was kind of an asshole." Like that doesn't work. But if you ask people the question,
it might be funnier that way though.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you let people conjure the image in their mind of what an enemy is, but really our enemies are our past. They always are.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
I got a buddy who is a big fan of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think? Who would win in a fight between Superman and Thanos?
Superman and Thanos.
And I've thought a lot about this.
Oh yeah, you got to draw more lines than that. I can't work with that.
No Infinity Gauntlet.
No Infinity Gauntlet. Okay, so just Thanos as what he is.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
they're fighting in a Dragon Ball Z. No one lives anywhere near land with a couple of hills for no reason.
Okay,
let's fight over here where no one is. Ha ha ha.
That's such a weighty question because I feel like, do they have their plot armor? Do they have their respective writers behind them? Who's writing it?
Yeah,
why?
Well, look.
But let's put
you got to take it. It's always going to be subjective because writers can make anyone win at any time.
Okay,
right.
I'm gonna say
Spider-Man could beat Superman with the right writers, and it's bullshit.
Sure,
because there's no reason.
All bullshit aside, Thanos would win.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll tell you why Thanos would win because personally,
I'll tell you why Thanos.
Oh, you'll tell me why.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. For me, Superman. It makes more sense for him to die against Thanos than anybody else.
So, Thanos, okay, is strong, immortal, whatever, can fuck anyone up, right? Sure. And Superman is just as badass, but Superman has two weaknesses. One of them is magic hits him like something hits a human. Right? It's not magic instantly kills him, but magic does hurt him. Thanos, who is super fucking intelligent and crafts all of his armor with super tech, imbues magic because he's also the master of magic. Sure. Imbues magic into all of his shit.
Oh yeah.
So anytime you punch him, you're hit with magic.
I actually forgot that Thanos was magic. I thought he was cosmic. I thought he was power cosmic.
All of it. No. Cosmic is when he gets the Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, I thought that
Thanos, he does not. Oh, no. He's had it on multiple. He's had the power cosmic multiple times.
Okay, so it's not like a part of his power. Okay, gotcha.
No,
that was my important question because I didn't know that. But then, yeah, that's good.
No, he does not. But he has on many times. He actually subdued Galactus and turned him into a battery. Right.
One of the reasons why I loved. Oh shit! What am I thinking of? The train of thought's just like derailing.
Yeah, it's good beer.
Right? Yeah.
It really is. I'm really enjoying it. Zoiglhaus.
Zoiglhaus. Yeah, it's actually Portland. There's a really nice brew pub, Zoiglhaus in Portland. Yeah. They've got great German food.
I'm gonna have to Uber down there because I will get fucked up.
It's really.
I read this thing recently that like drunk driving's down, like. The injuries due to drunk driving is down like 70% in New York since Uber got there in 2004, whatever.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it. I feel like there's a weight to calling a cab that it doesn't exist when you're calling an Uber.
It's true.
You call an Uber and it's just like this absent-minded, like let me get this dude to give me a ride.
Yeah.
But cabs, it's like
it's going to be 5 minutes away.
Yeah, but with the cab, it's like this whole like it
45
feels like
5 minutes away.
Well, it feels like you're contacting the union. Like you're like, I gotta get this whole like. This ride sorted out, and then ends up costing a huge amount of money, taking way longer than you expected. And I support cab drivers. I think it's a hard job that they do.
Well, I think it's an antiquated job.
It is
where they need to get rid of the medallions, and you buy the things on the things. Gonna have a little pee?
I am.
All right. Man, where were we? I guess we were talking about cabs, but what is there to say? Uber and Lyft. Are there any other out there? Seems like there should be more than two. But cabs take for fucking ever. Are they cheaper? Are they even cheaper? I got married in the last year, and we had a honeymoon where we traveled. And we left early in the morning, like 5 o'clock. And we got an Uber in the morning. Went down there, got on the plane, had a vacation, came back, took an Uber back from the airport, and it's like, I take that back. We did get a ride on the back, but either way, like, how easy is it now to just all those people that drive to the airport and park their cars? What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? You got to park a car for 2 weeks. Just take an Uber. Spend the extra $20 or so, whatever it is. All right. Yeah, they are one direction.
Yeah, I got that.
They tilt.
It's funny you should mention that because I just came back from Vegas. And while I was there, I only commuted by walking and by Uber and Lyft.
Yeah. When last time I went to Vegas, and the only 2 times I've been to Vegas were for bowling tournaments because I'm a nerd like that.
Sure.
And I traveled by cab.
It cost me too much to ride by Lyft, so I can only imagine how much worse it would have been via cab.
It wasn't that expensive. It was just I don't know. How much did it cost to get around by, and how much did you move around?
It's hard to pin down the actual number, but I'd say probably it cost me about $100 for a weekend to move only by.
That's not bad, I guess, depending on where you're going.
No, it wasn't.
If you're going just down the strip from one point in the strip to the other, well, let's not do that.
Here's the best part.
Go ahead and walk.
Best part, all told, the trip cost me $400, and then the last day,
I saw your post.
2 hours before 2 hours before I left, I hit the slots. I won $400.
That's fucking dope.
The whole trip, I made $6.42 on the trip.
Yeah, that's the way to go to Vegas, right there.
That's exactly how you go to Vegas.
Well, go there, fucking hang out cheap, enjoy yourself.
Honestly, like, my big problem is I love Vegas after the first time. I mean, that was the first time I ever went. I love it, but it's not the kind of place I could go to with most of my friends. Nobody I knows how to party Vegas style.
Yeah,
I feel like you might.
Definitely.
We might have to go to Vegas at some point, but all of my friends
I'm going
are
there next year for Nationals bowling because I'm a nerd like that. I'm gonna try to take as many people with me.
Let me know. Because I feel like Vegas has its place. Like, for me, it's not like I going into it, I thought it wasn't my scene. I was like, there's no way. I was like, I'm gonna enjoy this.
Yeah. Maybe 20 years ago wasn't your scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now it's everyone's scene. If you can't go to Vegas and find a niche, something's wrong. Even if you're there with your fucking 2 kids who are 6 and 8, there is a spot for you there now.
The worst part is when people come there with their kids and go to places where they should never be a child, like walking up and down Fremont. Like, and you're like, ooh, you don't want to be here with kids right now.
The problem is because of that accessibility, it's a lot more expensive than it used to be. In the early 90s, I knew someone had a book that was How to Live on Vegas for $6 a day. I mean, it probably not including room, but still, like, food and entertainment. You can't do that anymore.
No,
and that's okay.
I mean, if you know how to play the system, if you know how to play the odds, you can make a lot of money back.
I don't gamble.
My Aunt Lisa and her husband went there, and same time as I did.
Did you say aunt or aunt?
Aunt.
Yeah, I bet you did.
What, did I not?
You said aunt. That's what I thought you said.
Aunt. Is this a problem?
Aunt.
Have I crossed the line?
No, I'm in favor of aunts.
I'm good either way. But anyway, my Aunt Lisa.
What is this? A school for aunts?
For shame on you. So Aunt Lisa and her husband, he made $600. She made $1,800. They have never once left Vegas in a deficit.
Really?
They've been dozens of times. Dozens.
Literally
dozens. So seriously, and I asked her about it. She's like, I just know how to play it. There's ways to play this. Like, and I said that to Paul.
Oh, you do the high count slots, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, and Paul insisted that, like, you can't play the system with slots. And I'm like, sir.
If you're patient, you can. If you count.
Oh yeah. So counting, you don't even necessarily need to count. Just generally kind of know. There's certain things to know, like go to high traffic areas. As soon as you get a small payout, move until somebody else sits down. Then move back when they're gone. Little things like that.
So the first time I went was in the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. And it was for a bowling tournament. I had no money. And I was with my cousin who was there for the tournament and also had no money. What we would do is we would take $20, put it into the nickel slots, play until we hit a jackpot, cash out at $36, let's say. Mm-hmm. That was our food for the day. They had a deal where you got it was something like $3.50 for a pound and a half burger.
Jesus.
Burger and another $1 if you got fries with it. So we just fucking get that. And,
right.
You know, so that's what we would do is we would play low, cash out cheap, you know, and by the way, while you're playing that, you get free beers, you know,
nice.
and then beers were $1 everywhere you went.
Yeah.
And then Coronas were $1.25. Or you can get a Coors Light and a hot dog for $1.25, right? So like you just need to find the spots where they're doing those little things.
For me, it was just sitting there getting G&Ts. Like I'd slow play it. So I'd pull out my book, you know, I'd read a paragraph, max bet. Wait a minute, read a paragraph, get a drink, tip her $2 for the drink because they're free.
Yeah,
and just keep tipping, and that's it. I would just sit there, and I sat there for like 2 hours. And $40 went by, and then I was on my last 20 and got the jackpot. And I was like, all right, $400 pays for the trip. I'm out.
Yeah. Vegas is pretty fun. I feel like, again, like I said, there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
And there's just so much to do there now. It's not just for gamblers and degenerates. It's also for gamblers and degenerates. But there's like a lot of stuff to do now. Like I really want to there's this bunch of places I want to hit. I'm not a ride guy, so I don't want to, like I didn't do the New York ride that goes through the fucking casino.
Sure.
No thanks. I don't need to do the Stratosphere. But I do want to go see, what is that? This got the giant aquarium.
I don't know that one.
Manta ray. What's it called?
Not coming to me.
They do a lot of fights there. Boxing fights. Shit, I don't know. Anyway, doesn't matter. The Luxor is one of the prettiest buildings I've ever seen.
Yeah. I feel like...
You've seen the Luxor, right?
I think so, yeah.
That's the one that's a giant black pyramid.
Yeah,
that at night shoots a light into space that you can see from fucking space.
For me, it's like... despite the fact that winning $400 was a nice, heady experience, my favorite thing about being in Vegas was actually all-you-can-eat Korean barbecue. It was $20 a person. And
How do Koreans taste?
Surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think they'd be gamey, but you'd be wrong.
Gamey.
No, I just destroyed my body with chowder, and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm just gonna do this for hours.
When did that become a thing? I wonder what year that became a thing.
I don't know.
Korean barbecue.
I don't know, but like here, Korean barbecue, it's like it's not all you can eat. I pay up like $20-$25 a person, and I ended up walking away not even full. But like I go to freaking Vegas and I pay $20 and I just
they're
ruin.
buffet friendly.
Oh yeah, I there's nothing better.
See, I'm not good at buffets. I can't eat a lot at one time.
That's all I can do. That's actually my only talent.
Yeah.
Is just eating too much.
I've never been able to.
And he's single, ladies. Excuse me.
Yeah. Next time you see Zach, swipe right.
Exactly. Please.
Swipe right.
Please swipe right.
He can eat all he can eat.
I really can't eat all I can eat. Oh.
He'll take you to Golden Corral. You'll have a lot of fun. The Golden Corral just opened up in Vancouver.
So my brother...
It was the biggest deal in the world.
My brother has been telling me about that nonstop because he lives up here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I delivered materials to the people who were building it. And I was like, oh, this is a bad spot because that intersection is already fucked.
Yeah.
And I know that because of America, you put a Golden Corral in, it's going to be a problem.
I'm going to tell you right now, you would probably like my brother more than you like me.
I mean, I'd like a lot of people more than...
No, seriously, you would like my brother more than you like me. And that was actually the reason I went to Vegas.
Yeah.
I went to Vegas because it was my brother's birthday. Jesus.
Wedding birthday?
Wedding birthday. No, his birthday's in January.
So just a wedding.
Yeah, just a wedding. But no. I think you would get along with him a lot better than you get along with me.
Good. I like to get along with most people. I like 99.99% of people I meet. However, people who meet me, they like me about at a 60% clip.
I can see that.
There's so many people that I really enjoy that just cannot stand me. It's tough. Jesus Christ, you all right?
I'm coughing pretty bad. I'm sick, by the way. Don't be confused. The dulcet baritone that you're hearing right now
for
is
some
entirely
reason
due to illness.
it is completely not allergies.
It's not allergies. It was a cold. I had a cold. A really bad. Actually, it might have been a flu. Because it lasted a long time. Usually colds don't last that long.
Okay.
It sucked.
I don't know.
I wish I had allergies. Allergies have a solution.
You don't wish you had allergies.
They have a solution.
I think I have allergies, and I developed them late in life, and to the extent that I wake up with a stuffy nose.
Oh,
therefore I snore. That's about it for my allergies.
That blows.
Yeah. But when I blow my nose, or
yes.
Okay.
No. I actually would prefer allergies. I've had a cough since I was 15.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Are you sure you don't just have a nervous tick?
It's funny. So I started smoking when I was 19.
Gross.
And every time I went to a doctor, they would say, you have a history of smoking. Are you sure that's not what caused your cough? And I'm like, well, unless smoking retroactively fucks up your lungs for 4 years, then no.
Yeah. You probably just have a nervous tick.
It's not a nervous tick.
Yeah, no, that's a thing.
That's
a thing where people will cough uncontrollably because of it. Not a nervous tick, but like a nerve
I can't laugh.
tickle.
Have you noticed that this entire time I've never been able to laugh?
Oh, I just thought it because I wasn't funny.
No, I can't laugh without coughing.
Okay.
And it gets to be kind of a fucking bore.
I think it's neurological.
It'd be great if it was neurological. That
it wouldn't be great because that's hardest to deal with than anything.
At least I'd know.
If it was like a spray, you could like.
Oh man, at least I could know. Just knowing would be enough.
Have you tried some scissor?
Scissor?
Does that work on your cough?
It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Nothing.
It's cough medicine. It should work.
Nothing works. Yeah. It's now they suspect it's a deep nerve damage.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Deep
from all that time travel smoking.
Yeah. Don't call that all the retroactive smoking.
Yeah.
I'm going to have smoked 6 years ago. It's gonna be great. No, it's funny though. It was just after coming back from Vegas that I got sick, and I feel like my body was waiting, like it was saving it for me. It was like, hey, bud, you're in Vegas. I'm not gonna make this shitty for you. I'm gonna do
it's being a bro.
Yeah, it was being a bro.
Body.
It was like, all right, you landed. Okay. You got your baggage. Cool. You're in the car, and now you get a cough.
Dude, I don't know what I'm gonna do when I go down there, and I'm gonna have to carry down fucking bowling balls. I don't want to check them for $50 a piece, and then just have them get lost.
Don't fly Spirit.
Never.
So I flew Spirit, and the reason I flew Spirit is because I'm really good at packing, and so my whole weekend trip was fit into a single messenger bag.
Dude, we went to
cost me nothing.
We went to Hawaii, and we both took a carry-on and an overhead for a week.
Oh, for a week? That's fair.
Yeah.
So when I went to Japan last,
I don't want to check shit.
When I was in Japan last 2 weeks, the whole thing, one backpack. That's it.
I could do that.
It's not.
My wife can't.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I could.
I really want to travel more.
I really want to go to Japan.
It's amazing.
I don't know where in Japan.
Kyoto.
I hear that.
Dude, honestly, go everywhere, but end up in
Tokyo
Kyoto
and Osaka.
Dude, I think
everywhere.
Everybody should be.
I don't think there's a bad spot to go.
No,
I think that's what the problem is.
But I think everybody, if you ask them, will agree, end up in Kyoto.
Yeah.
End up in Kyoto. It's the best place to be.
That's where all the chicks are.
It's the whole place is.
What are my chances? Is Japanese Tinder any good?
So I'll tell you right now.
Like white dudes over there?
Surprisingly, your odds of having intimate, immediate relations with a person in Japan are roughly the same as they are in America.
Not good.
No, seriously. So it's actually not. They're just like Americans for all intents and purposes. Like I
was hoping for an edge.
There's a level of surface resistance, but ultimately there's the same amount of give. People want to have sex. They like having sex. Yeah. They're a little less puritanical about sex, but they're a lot more shy socially. We're a lot less shy socially, but we're a lot more puritanical about sex. Well, then you'd probably be fine. You'd probably be fine. You just have to find the people who are into it. You got that bara look going for you, so you could do it. Yeah, bara. That's the word.
That's the thing.
If you were
Do I have to
gay,
keep the beard?
if you were gay, you would not be able to handle the amount of dick.
Dude, if I was gay, we don't need to go to Japan. I couldn't
You don't need
handle
to go to
the
Japan.
amount
You don't
of
need to go to
dick.
Japan.
I could not
Oh my
handle
God.
the amount of dick.
Seriously though, like
I wish I was bi. I just can't do it.
dude, the gay community in Japan is fantastic.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. They're such delightful people.
Good.
It is a very different culture, but Japan's an amazing country to be in. Kyoto is hands down the best I've been to. I've been to about 5-6 cities. Kyoto's the best. The whole place is restorational, so you've got an entire section called Gyeom, and the whole thing is classical restoration. So imagine a city where a chunk of it is just Edo period buildings.
I love that.
It's
and
gorgeous.
I love photography.
Oh, you won't be able to stop
love
taking
it. Yeah,
pictures.
yeah.
You'll never do anything else. That's what I did.
Yeah.
If you stay at a ryokan in
That's
Kyoto,
the problem is I can't pronounce all these fucking vowel consonants.
So I learned Japanese to go to Japan. I studied it to the point of competency.
Oh no, I remember.
So I could go.
Yeah. What if I didn't do that?
Honestly, it's the easiest
I'm sure it'd
language.
be fine.
Hands down, Japanese is the easiest language to speak in the world. It is the hardest language, second hardest language to learn to write, but the easiest to speak.
No.
Easy. Every single character is always pronounced the same way. Its syllabary is guaranteed exactly the same every time. The only things you'd have to learn that are a little difficult are the R sound. That's a bit tough. You'd have to learn to skip certain U sounds.
I think
That's
if
about it.
I was gonna go to a foreign country where I needed to speak their language and get by, I'd probably go to Ireland.
you speak Gaelic?
No, they don't speak Gaelic.
Go to Ireland.
Gaelic is
Hold on,
a
hold on.
recovering language. That is a falsely recovering language.
It depends on where you go. Some parts of that country,
No.
the brogue is strong enough that if you don't speak Gaelic, you won't be able to understand them.
Here's the thing. I remember a decade ago, I watched this movie called 16 Candles. It's not... No, Sweet 16.
Sweet 16, I was about to say, like...
And it still wasn't the American one. It was this Irish-made movie about Irish kids. This kid... It had subtitles.
It
had to have subtitles.
They speak in English, but they're
for
not
some
speaking
reason,
English.
my ear picks up Great Britain really well. Scottish, English, deep English.
To be fair, Ireland
Irish.
is not a part of England.
It's
not a part. Excuse me, it's not a part of Great Britain.
Okay, it's Britain.
It is not.
It's Britain.
It is not.
Britain is all of them. Great Britain is the country.
Northern Ireland proper,
Is Great Britain.
not a part of Great Britain. So you have Northern Ireland, which is its own
you're
country.
right. No, you're right. You're right. Great Britain's that one island.
Yeah, or Southern
Anyway.
Ireland. Excuse me, Southern Ireland is its own country.
Hey,
Excuse me.
all them motherfuckers.
All them motherfuckers.
I can hear them really well.
Sure.
I can hear them really well. Like, I'll be watching movies and, my wife will ask me, what the fuck did they say? And I'll tell them. I don't know why I have an ear for it. But, doesn't mean they're going to understand me or we're going to communicate well.
Sure.
But fuck, I love it.
I love Northern Irish, which is like the part of Great Britain. I love the Northern Irish.
Part of
Great Britain. That's Northern Ireland. So like Belfast is the capital of Northern Ireland. Actually, it's not even a part of Great Britain.
no.
Forgive me
Great
about
Britain
that.
is Scotland,
So-
Wales, and England.
Actually, here's the thing. So it's the UK.
The UK.
The United
It's part of the
Kingdom.
UK.
The United Kingdom is
Right.
Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales.
Great Britain is the one island.
Great Britain is just Scotland and UK.
Wales.
Wales is not a part of Great Britain.
Yes, it is.
It is a separate country
no.
because it's its own island.
I don't think. No, Wales
its
is
own island.
No, it is not.
Wales is
Sir.
its own island.
No, you're thinking of the Isle of Man.
No, that too. But
No, Wales is connected.
we're gonna pull out the pants robot for this.
Okay.
It's not. I'm gonna say it right now. Those of you at home can guess. You can take your own guesses about it.
Where's Wales?
Wales is a part of the mainland. Oh, I see what you're talking about. Yeah, sorry, you're right. You got me there. Yeah, Wales is a part of Great Britain. I guess you're right.
Yeah, United Kingdom is Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, England.
Mm-hmm.
I think Isle of Man.
Yeah.
And then Ireland is Ireland south of Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Which that's
Southern
just
Ireland.
a fucking mess.
I love it.
It's now.
I wanna go so
now. You love it now. I don't know if you remember the late 80s.
I remember. I don't.
You did.
I don't
No one loved
specifically
it then.
remember it. 'Cause
No one loved it then.
I was busy shitting in my pants because I was a baby.
No one loved it then. It was a nightmare.
But I love the
Death,
yeah, absolutely.
firebombing.
What isn't there to love
Terrorism?
about death, firebombing, and terrorism?
Oh, I'm so glad that they fucking like it's not great, but they fucking quit the violence.
You're telling me that Great Britain isn't great? No, I actually really love Northern Irish accents.
Okay. You ever been on a podcast before? Or?
I've never been on a podcast before. Actually, this is my first time recording myself with the actual intent to upload it.
Weird. You should do more.
Thank you. I think.
When are you going to start you on YouTube? Again.
Never, because I find myself abhorrent, and I don't think other people would want to listen to this. You seem to be the only person who actually thinks that people should listen to it.
I think you should, because I think you can go on a good 15-20 minute rant at least twice a week. And that's all you need to do to make millions of dollars on YouTube.
Okay, well, if that's all it takes, then
that's all it takes, apparently.
That's it. That's the whole thing.
Be slightly funny and make good points.
Name a part of the UK.
What do you mean?
Name a part of the UK. Any part of the UK.
Okay, Scotland.
Scotland. What part of Scotland?
I don't know parts of Scotland.
Well, if you're talking about Edinburgh, I can do it. Pretty standard Edinburgh accents. Yeah, most of the time when I'm doing accents, especially
London.
when I'm doing London. What part of London? You're talking about East End. You're talking about East End. I can do an East End accent. Most of the time when you're talking about
Newcastle.
Let's say
Newcastle's the toughest.
Well, with Newcastle,
no, they're fucked up.
I'm trying. No, hold on. I can get there.
You ever heard Michael Bisping do Newcastle?
The problem with the Newcastle accents is you've got a lot of them the sounds. You've got that Geordie accent. I love the Geordie accent. Yeah. I love Geordie because it's got that kind
of. You can't fucking understand them.
Well, all the vowels have the sound.
They're the Alabama of the UK.
there's no separation between the vowels. So every time you're talking about any sound, everything's always going to have the sound to it. I love it. This is one of the reasons.
Tell me I'm wrong though. Huh? Newcastle is the Alabama of the UK.
Newcastle's the Alabama of the UK.
As far as accents go.
My favorite is Bristol, though. I like that farm sound, though. That everything has that kind of a oddly rural sound. You know what I'm talking about? You're just gonna stand there like
twatty.
A lemon.
It's very twatty.
It's a bit posh.
I knew a guy who was from Ireland. He told me the funniest thing, and so he stuck with me. And he was super Irish. He's from Ireland. He was in his late 40s when I knew him, but obviously still Irish.
Sure.
And he's like, yeah, it's. I'm not going to do the accent. It's fucking. I think he's been in the U.S. for a while, but it's fascinating because, you have this Irish accent, and you go 7 miles down the road to the next town, and it's a completely different fucking accent.
Yeah, you drive 7 miles here, you're still in Oregon.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't get away from. Do we have an accent here? I don't think we do.
We have the flattest accent.
I think we have movie accent.
I read recently that the accent that the English brought to America at our inception was closest to Oregon.
Yes.
Closer to Oregon than it is to
Pacific
UK.
Northwest. Yeah.
Because
and that's because over there the elite started talking in a way. And it trickled down.
Well, and he also had like several Reformationist movements where they were trying to like fix the language. And they're like, we're gonna reestablish the idea of what the Queen's English should sound like.
Yeah,
that's just a little bit asinine.
It's just garbage people over there in England. Just garbage people.
Just garbage people. If you're listening, England.
There's more murders per capita in London now than there is in New York.
I've heard that England is the America of Europe. I think that's a fantastic idea.
That's probably really fair. I don't know of another place that would be more similar.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything. I can't think of a more American place than the UK in terms of Europe. So that's kind of like up in the air for me.
Yeah. All right, 3 beers in. Let's wrap it up.
All right.
You got anything to shout out? Any last words?
If you haven't read Civil War, It's well worth a read.
Yeah, that's fucking dope.
Marvel Civil War is probably one of the greatest crossover events in their history. It tells a very compelling story and ends in a beautiful way.
You can get it in the trade paperbacks and kind of like it'll toss in all the side issues as well.
And those of you who are looking to get into DC, I strongly recommend Kingdom Come and Justice. Probably two of the best graphic novels you can find in the canon, and well worth a read.
You say Injustice?
No, just Justice.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. The one with the Watchers, not the one with the fighting game.
Yeah, well, no, because that's its own safe, but it's not canon. It's its own universe.
Sure.
Which is also pretty fun. But
actually, yeah, Justice is not canon. Or, excuse me, Justice is canon. Kingdom Come is not.
Who knows? With DC, they do shit all over the place. Like I just read White Knight, where Joker becomes a good guy.
No, thank you.
Not canon. No, it's fucking great. It's amazing.
All right.
He takes pills to become Jack Napier. Then he shits on the bat.
Just takes a right shit on him?
No, not a proper shit.
Not a proper shit. Okay.
No. All right. For me, I don't know. TownsyProductions.com. See all the podcasts there. I'm out.